Another inspiring topic of conversation, right? We're all explorers, it feels like. We're explorers in this new world, in this huge ocean of data and these little islands that are popping up, and we're trying to connect them together. Thank you, everybody. I found this sessions to be absolutely inspiring. You know, I think the combination of a technology perspective, the human perspective, the kind of the discovery, the kind of the change, the culture, you know, and I just want to say a big thank you to every single presenter today. You've done a really good job, and I think it's been some really inspiring, some really interesting points that have been made today. We're running really short in terms of the panel session, but there's one question that I do want to put to everybody. You know, we've talked about sort of growing complexity and the challenges that come with complexity. We've talked about mining out information through APIs and having a bit more laser focus and sort of, you know, trying to pull out that value from what we've got here. We've talked about attention. We've talked about BIM. We've talked about the future. There was a statement that was made by Rob, actually. He said, I think it was, get rid of the drawing, the model is everything. All right? And I'm really curious about that. I'm really curious, and that will be the one panel question that I'll put to everybody. So I'm going to hand out the mic in the moment, and you know, if you would, I'd like everybody that spoke to sort of give their view on that. Are we really looking at a future where the model is everything, and you know, the old world of drawings just disappear? You know, taking into consideration conversations about complexity, conversations about focus, conversations about validation and affirmations and so on, is that the world that we are looking at for BIM going forward? That's the question to the panel. And to the rest of the audience. I'd just love to understand everybody's view on that one. So on that, I'm going to hand out the mic. Or do you want to go and grab a microphone there? Oh, there's just one there. There you go. Rob, you can start. And if we can keep it to maybe a minute or so response on this. You know, do you want to get the guys this one? They'll sort it out.
Hello?
There you go. Okay.
Where should I go?
Just stay on the floor and.
Thank you. I mean, since you credited me for that statement, I wanted to go first because I didn't say that. I said that other people say that and have said it for basically as long as I can remember, about 20 years. And I think what I would say is that it's a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of the universe to say that. It's not a fatal misunderstanding because it can be easily corrected. I would change it to this: don't conceptualize getting rid of drawings. Conceptualize what the hell are they in the first place before you throw them away. What are they? Right? They're expressions of narrowed, attentive focus. And they're used also for affirmation. Two things, affirmation, and the main thing is they set up this, these two poles between which is an interplay in our minds, which is thinking, and out of which understanding grows. So, last thing about it, in my opinion, it's not about getting rid of them. It's about imagining their future evolution of the form in which they're expressed.
Okay, do we have any? Yeah.
I think it's a major question of representation. So you could argue the same about if I have an issue pin, where do I drop it? I can drop it in a 2D model, but I can drop it in a 3D model as well. So we need to rethink about how are we representing that data. Is it in the form of 2D drawings or in a 3D model or in a spreadsheet? So having said that, I agree with Rob. I don't think we need to get rid of the drawings. I think they are here as a support to what we're trying to, you know, justify and verify. But having said that, it really depends on where you stand in the supply chain. So if I'm the designer, obviously I will need those 2D drawings. I can't get rid of them. In that sense, if I'm someone else in the supply chain, if I'm just you know, a contractor, I just need to validate those models on a weekly basis. I don't need to know exactly what's happening in that specific space. I just need to know how many sensors I've got in that room. I just need to know how many panels I've got in that, space. And in that case, it's also an issue of representation. Maybe color coding can solve the problem. So you got to ask yourself, what are you trying to solve? What are you trying to visualize? And we're also highly visual creatures. So if you told me spreadsheets, then okay, maybe I can tell you, yeah, I'm not sure about that. But drawings, I think that they are here to support whatever information you're trying to talk about, to share. Yeah, I wanted to say something else as well, but now it skipped completely. Yeah, I think that drawings can act as a form of attachment, a resource that you're trying to share, that you're trying to just add onto whatever other means of representation you work with. So, yeah, I think if you're an architect, of course you're going to want those 2D drawings. If you're an engineer, maybe yeah, as well. But if you're a facilities manager, maybe you don't need those 2D drawings. So it's all about how they serve their purpose, yeah.
I would like to add like this separation, that we need to separate data transfer from working with that data. So I think that drawings, I don't know the better form, for example, to show schematic of a model. If you will try to look at the model, even if you're like in perspective view, it might be harder to understand layout of the building. So I think those tools of communication, like drawings or plan views, sections, they will exist, but we don't need to have them as a data transfer tool. We need to have data-rich data, which we would share, and we would have different view modes for like use cases that exist. So, and when I talked about these new or like custom workflows that each designer will have in the future. So I think in the future everyone will select their own methods of looking at that data. But we need to solve that back end and the layer of data transfer. I think it's very important.
Super quick. So yeah, my take on it, on going back to the drawings, I think, for example, what you're holding in your hands, Richard, this is the future of notes, no? At least this company, that's how they envisioned it. So the question is, what is the future of drawings? And TGN, and this is Rob's solution. I will definitely check it out. But yeah, like this is an interesting parallel, no? And there can be other solutions, but it's a new word for me. So thank you, Rob, for Paolo.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you were saying, Mia. And I think it's essential to take into account the final user for the representation of either drawings, BIM models, data, or whatever we want to see, or however we want to see our models as. But actually, in some way, I was thinking that it is representing the actual industry in software solutions. For example, right now it's quite spread, the usage, and we have Revit for designers, but we have for project managers Navisworks. And in some way, these different purposes are lacking of an integrated solution, and that is really what we are lacking behind. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's a case of, yeah, drawings in some shape or form are going to exist, but they're going to evolve and become more focused, right? The audience, I know there's a few people that stayed and shared all of the sessions with us. Do you have any questions that you'd like to put to anybody here before we close, sir?
Hi.
just really quickly about this topic about the drawings. I work for a construction company, so I agree with you guys. But like in terms of being a BIM manager, I think in BIM coordinators we have to share the information. Like the drawings, I think we should treat the drawings as a sort of information that we have to share. So for us, would be a 3D model or a Navisworks file or using Revit on other platform. But for the guys on site, I know that we should push to them to evolve and coming to our side. But right now, we need people to keep building what we are planning and what we are designing. So if we can share the information as a drawing, digital or even printed, I have still guys on site that they prefer the printed drawings. We should like try to change the industry, but keep it moving and not focusing too much on how we produce information, but just share the information as people need to work, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Everybody who presented, everybody who came to see us in person, and everybody that was online as well. I thoroughly enjoyed spending the day with you guys, and thank you all. And hopefully we'll have a few Guinnesses tonight.